In the year 1997, the future is in chaos and turmoil. Mankind is on the brink of extinction. Brave survivors band together and build a time displacement apparatus to receive a signal from a parallel future. This transmission is the Wundercast.
There's one team that kicks ass. They're assembled. They're the Wundercast. Never back down from the brass. Always start first. Never finish last. Had a mic steam. Been too fast. Oh no, they're out of gas. It's okay there. Just a podcast. They're the greatest. We're the Wundercast.
Welcome to the Boondacast, the official podcast of Wunderblog.com, the home of this year's Chesapeake Bay 4th annual July Crab Festival. Whoa.
Fourth annual? Oh,
Yeah.
fourth, because it's our... Okay, gotcha.
This is your host Stephen speaking with his sultry tones, and I'm happy here to welcome you as Wunder Halloween-a-thon rolls along. And today I'm joined by my co-hosts, the they of theys, the longest reigning Trials of Trivia champion in history.
Whoa.
Maybe before the end of the year there'll be a chance for you to get your rematch.
Oh, man. I'm begging.
Versus
I'm
Mr. J.
Itching for it.
We're also joined by our leader this week since we're watching
I'm the leader.
since we're watching
this is
her
my
pick.
choice. My choice, yes.
Her pick
This
for
is your responsibility.
Deal-
Wunder
Dealer's
Halloween-a-thon. The evermore, the chicken nugget. Danny, how you doing, Danny?
I'm great.
How's your voice after watching Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour?
It's actually very good. I think
Night
I
3.
was very responsible, took care of myself, except for that middle part where I hadn't eaten enough and I almost passed out.
Oh no!
So I had to get emergency chicken strips.
So you had
Medicinal fried chicken?
So
Yeah.
she had a good breakfast.
Yes.
That was fortified. She had eggs and toast, and I was like, okay, we got a good base. We're
Yeah.
starting out here. And then before we drove out, I stopped at Wendy's,
I got a hamburger.
and we
see?
each had a hamburger.
Yeah.
So we're fortified there. And
the
then,
things we never had to think about when we were 18 going to these concerts.
Oh god.
Fuck, we have to fuel up. We're almost 40.
Well, I feel like when you're 18, you just eat more in general. Like, we ate more. Like, we would just snack all the time. I don't snack all the time like I do now, like I used to. So that's why I wouldn't have to worry about that when I was 18, because I would fucking snack.
No, there'd just be food always.
There would just be
There's
food. I'm
around.
serious. There's
Yeah,
always food,
yeah.
and you're with your friends. Nowadays, I'm like, sometimes I just wake up and I'm like, I don't feel like fucking eating right now. I just fucking wander. I have too much to do.
Danny, let me continue going through my menu.
Sorry.
So then I got into the Hard Rock, and I knew I should fuel up now.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a foot-long
I
hot
should
dog.
have had another,
Wow.
more protein after.
I had
the
a
hamburger.
foot-long hot dog,
Yeah.
and then she was so excited she didn't want to eat.
I had popcorn, but
And
it's not-
electrolytic water.
Yes, I did have electrolyte water. See, I tried.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I don't understand why they sell you a foot-long hot dog in a
tiny
regular
little-
size
yeah,
bun.
right.
It's a crime here.
Why?
You need to pay for the correct size bun
No,
for your hot dog. It's not a deal.
For real.
I will
The
say
proper hot dog to
Yeah.
meat ratio must be respected.
Yes,
I
I
think-
agree,
I
because
think-
a hot dog without the bread is kind of gross.
I think that it's just Taylor's concert was warm. It's Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I was sweating a lot, and I was really like,
And it
Up.
started
and I was
pouring
like
right before she went on and as she was starting and going on. So we were luckily in the overhang, so
Yeah.
we were fine. But still, all that like moisture
Yeah,
and
I think
humidity.
I think I just, even though I had enough, I hadn't had enough for like the amount of energy I was expending.
Right.
Getting like excited and screaming and yelling and up and down and all this kind of stuff like that.
And then when you got your feedback from your Fitbit, it was like, yo, she did like 1 million zone minutes.
400 zone minutes. yesterday.
Like Taylor took her to the next level.
To the next level. It
Like
was mad.
if you could afford it, like you could go on like a diet of just going to concerts.
Yeah.
And be like, that's my exercise.
Oh my God,
is I'm
that'd be
just
the
going to these
best
concerts.
exercise program ever.
Right?
You have the hardcore program where you go mosh pits and fucking
But it
burn
was
it off
so
that
much
way.
fun. I think Taylor Swift experienced a very supportive audience. People are really excited. They're all zoned in. Like some concerts, like that was like how it was with Beyonce. Everyone's zoned in, so you're having the best time because everyone is focused on like enjoying the music and enjoying, you know, what's going on and singing and dancing. And those are the best concerts to go to. Like when people are zoned into the artist and they're all together and you're all supporting each other with it. And I know people go, well, is that all concerts? No. Some concerts, people are just kind of like futzing around and like.
And there was
I mean,
61,000.
In my head, I'm like the kind of music that I listen to, that's 99% of the concerts I go to are that.
And
Because it's all like punk and like little, you know, I go to like stadium shows that much, so like little clubs that hold like 1,000 people maybe and stuff, and everybody's always zoned in at those shows. Like,
but it's 61,000 people at attention.
No, that's
with like the full production value to try to match that, you know.
Also, I'm gonna.
The only comparable experience I would say for me would have been the 2 WrestleManias that I went to.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's like that. Yeah.
Oh.
It's that's what's it really is, you know, something that this is one.
But go on.
I'm sorry.
No, finish your thought.
I just feel like I'm really praying that COVID vaccine technology continues to improve to the point now where we can get like vaccines that make it almost impossible for us to get infected because seriously, the experience of
Stay up
being
to date
around
with your boosters, people. I just got mine. It's very, very important.
Being around that many people enjoying an experience is really part of the human condition.
Yes,
honestly,
it is.
We lose something when we don't have it. And Taylor, like, when Taylor started talking about she started to cry. Like, she made me tear up. Because she was like, I wanted to do this because I didn't know if I would ever get to do this in 2020 again.
Yeah.
I thought it would be over. Yeah. I had no idea what the future would hold.
I'm about to, like, launch into a rant about how everybody hates this scene in The Matrix where they're all dancing underground in Zion, and to me that is like one of the most human fucking scenes. That's like one of the most important, powerful scenes of the whole trilogy. Just seeing them get to be
human
connection, that's the most human you see them be until like maybe the end of the trilogy. You know?
I feel like
and
maybe that would be nowadays post-pandemic people would appreciate it more.
Maybe.
But anyway, yeah. So human connection is important, and the Taylor Swift concert was amazing.
Yeah.
So I've sat through some big pops, at concerts. I've been to like big My Chemical Romance shows, been to Linkin Park, I've been to wrestling events and heard big pops. Okay.
I can see where this is going.
But there's a moment an hour and a half into her set where she just lets the audience like cheer for her. Okay? And she just lets it run. And I think it felt like it was like 5 minutes, but it could have been less, but I don't know. But the crowd just kept on getting higher and higher and higher pitch as it went on, and it's mostly women screaming.
97% women.
And luckily I had earplugs in.
Yeah.
But it was like the most insane noise I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
And it was just like the greatest volume I've ever experienced ever.
Oh my god, now I want to do like a whole podcast about like the biggest crowd reactions we've ever experienced. Because there's a couple at WrestleMania that like were like up there on my list.
It was amazing.
But what you were talking about reminded me of the way people talk about Canadian Stampede and the main event specifically of that pay-per-view where like the way people talk about it is like, I've heard crowds pop, I've heard like loud, super fucking loud reactions. This was an entire 1 hour match. The camera was shaking. Mm-hmm. It was so loud. The entire match. Mm-hmm. They were so loud through the entire match. It's crazy to watch.
Also, I'm sorry, Taylor, but I really think you're going to have to marry Travis Kelce at this point. Some of the outside
the international crisis that will happen.
First of all, outside of the screaming moment where she has this cheer for her, the two largest pops of that stadium were when she sang So High School, which is a song she wrote about first dating Travis, and at her last song of the night was called Karma. She changes a line in the song. The original line is something else, but the change line is, Karma is the guy on the Chiefs coming straight home to me. And the audience erupted in elation.
And they shoot some fireworks at that moment.
Fireworks!
Fireworks!
Literal
Boom.
fireworks!
Boom.
And every man that was straight there, including Stephen, was wearing some form of Travis Kelce merchandise. She has given straight men permission to go to her concert with their wives and girlfriends and wear their Kelce jerseys. She's gonna have to marry him. They're literally
She's
an
found a way
American
for us to
institution.
keep our dignity.
I feel like we've ventured into a whole different podcast at this
Okay.
point.
We're gonna tie it back.
Yeah, we're tying it back.
So Jason Bloom from Bloomhouse, he was at the Taylor Swift concert.
In Miami?
3. Yes, night 3.
Oh yes,
shit.
for some reason he was
Wow.
faithfully there, and I ran into him, and he told me we should also do the Bay. He said, "No, I'm kidding." Obviously, but let's start our commentary track on the Bay, and if it slips into Taylor Swift, it's all right. It's Danny's podcast anyway.
But correctly.
We're starting in 3,
Exactly,
2,
it's my
fun,
podcast.
boom.
Jason
And we're-
Blum did produce this movie.
And we're on the Lionsgate. Oh, he did?
Yes.
See, I knew there was a connection
Yes,
there.
Jason Blum produced this,
There
as
we
well
go.
with Oren Pelly.
There you
Barry Levinson, who directed this.
Oren Pelly's the
Oren Pelly,
Paranormal
fucking super
Activity?
producer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here we
And
go.
Steve-
I think he directed the first one and produced the rest.
Yeah.
And he produced like a bunch of James Wan's stuff too. Like
So,
they produced together.
this is one of my favorite found footage
Insidious and
movies.
Conjuring movies.
And I probably should have figured out why. I didn't realize who directed it, obviously, when I first watched it, but it's Barry Levinson. And a screenplay that he did a story with this guy named Michael Wallach. And so I guess that's why I'm like, this is really cool, because it's like,
That's one of the
it's like a
things.
badass movie made by a real big time director.
I think maybe my favorite thing about this movie is that it is a big time Hollywood director, and he is so meticulous and intentional in making this look like a very amateurish
Indie film.
documentary. And it's like he could have done so much more production value if he really wanted to, but he knew how much more real it would be if it was just like some indie podunk fucking documentary that's like not that particularly well put together,
Mm-hmm.
cheaply edited in a lot of ways, but it's edited really well actually.
So,
It blurs the line of like, are they using stock footage or
Yeah,
is this
real
real footage?
Exactly.
So
Like, you know?
what's interesting about that is that this came about because he was actually going to produce a documentary about Chesapeake Bay and the problems of the
Oh, wow.
Chesapeake Bay. So the real pollution facing it. But then Frontline was doing their own documentary. So he was like, well,
Okay.
screw that, I'm not doing this. So then he decided to turn it into a horror concept. And that's
Yeah.
how this all
So
came
he
about.
used some of the real tragedy
Yeah.
here to make the realism
Wow.
real.
Yes.
Well,
So that's very real.
Mhm.
Wow.
and here we have the very talented. Is this Chris? No, this is Kristen Connolly.
No, that's not Kristen.
No.
Kristen
Or
Connolly
this
is
Heather,
the Cabin in the Woods.
Heather Donahue? No, that's not Heather Donahue.
Good job, Stephen. We have the very talented actor I don't know.
IMDb.
This actor who I am a very big fan of.
I'm not. You know, I have bad face positioning.
Bad
no,
face
Kristen
position.
Connolly is the redhead from Cabin in the Woods.
Yes.
Who is
Is this
in the,
Lamia Jezik? I
no.
can't even.
No. It's man. Hold on.
My face.
It's
This isn't my
My
part
face
of this.
assigning powers
it's
aren't
Heather,
working.
it is. It's Heather Donahue.
Yeah, it's Heather Donahue.
What the hell? I've never read the word Heather in my life
I know.
Well,
Yeah.
you've now met someone
until
named Heather.
this moment.
I feel like her parents were like, Heather's boring. Heather, though.
Is it Kelly? Is it Heather?
We'll never
Who
know.
cares? Both.
Oh no.
Well, you outshot the name Heather.
Heather. Fantastic.
And I think that's what makes this film really cohesive, is that all the
Mhm.
performances
Yeah.
are really grounded and real.
Yes.
you know?
Definitely.
Like, there's nobody who's, like, hamming it up really actorally.
And what's interesting is I think even with the inclusion of, like, Kristen Connolly, who is a more recognizable face, I think, like, if you're not someone who's really into movies, you'd watch this and you kind of wouldn't know. You'd blur the line for you, like, realism, not realism, because you wouldn't know all these people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, this came out,
2012.
just after Cabin in the Woods, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So, she wasn't, and even after Cabin in the Woods, she wasn't, I don't think she really did much of anything after that either. So, and, now that I'm thinking about it, it's really interesting. She's so natural in this.
Mm-hmm.
And she's very natural in Cabin in the Woods, too. But those are, two very different performances, weirdly.
Mm-hmm.
She plays two very different people, even though they're very similarly just normal and natural. She talks different, she acts, it's really a nuanced thing. It kind of gives me a little bit more respect for her as an actress. I never thought much of her, but
I love the mayor.
Yes.
Any mayor
I know.
in an ecological disaster movie.
So that's
is
what's
a
kind
great
of cool
character.
about this, I think this movie too, is that it's sort of, you can see that it's taking a little bit of Jaws, right? It's taking a little bit of that. We're having a festival, it's like 4th of July weekend, and we're all going to have a
This
good
is
time.
important to the town's economy.
Exactly, we need to have this. We're not going to talk about drama here, because, we gotta, we gotta make money.
It takes little bits of a lot of things in a really, respectful and interesting way. There's the Cloverfield aspect of it, where they show you so little of what's going on throughout the movie until, the very end it starts to escalate how much you see of what's really going on.
That's what's kind of interesting, is that you would think, well, someone like Barry Levinson, of course he would make a good found footage movie, but people don't understand that sometimes found footage can be really difficult.
Different
medium,
of making,
exactly.
Yeah.
And so even an experienced director, they may not always get it. Especially when you have to play
Especially someone who's done things a certain way his whole career.
And you also have to play with the limitations of the medium.
Yes.
So are you going to use handheld cameras? Is it face cameras? Is it TV cameras? Is it, video, internet footage?
Well, this movie was definitely pushing the boundaries of found footage at the time.
Yeah.
Because this is for the time period, this was the most different camera angles and sources of footage.
I wouldn't even call it a criticism, but it's just interesting to note how many fucking cameras are rolling in this town.
But
I don't care about that.
That's kind of how our lives are now, right?
Yeah.
I don't, as someone in 2024, this does not feel strange to me that there were security cameras and people filming the event and the news
for a
cameras.
Small town, I don't know.
Even for a small town, this is their 4th of July celebration.
It's not unbelievable.
No, it's not. Not
sure.
to me. I really don't. I don't think so. And especially now in our modern times where everyone literally has a camera in their pocket.
And if you're trying to pad a documentary, it's
of course.
Well, and also the fact that there are so many cameras, it helps you avoid the problem of why are these people filming this?
Yeah.
Because nothing has to be filmed for very long.
Exactly. But that's, to me, too, that makes it difficult, the editing, because they have to choose,
this is the editing in
how
this.
to splice, these pieces together. So I always like when found footage does stuff like this. I like when it's found footage of an event that they have to collect different cameras from. Even Cloverfield didn't do that. Cloverfield just had one camera and one guy, which is cool because it had limited POV.
Yeah, but at least Cloverfield kind of at least insinuated you're watching government footage.
No,
that's one of the things that's
cool when it puts you with the viewer.
That's one of the things I love about the Paranormal Activity movies is they innovate with each, at least for the first 3.
Yeah.
I didn't like the 4th one, and I didn't really watch any after that. But the first 3, they're always there's something new in each one. The second one, they have the ring cameras, the system which hadn't really been done at the time, and then they have the thing with the fan where the camera's attached to the fan and is going back and forth and stuff like that. That's Oren Peli too. So
what I also like about this movie, I think it's one of the reasons it's my favorite found footage, is that it directly addresses, because it was meant to be a documentary on pollution and probably climate change, it directly addresses that horror, and it's one of, and I think
It's
that's
too real.
it's one of those movies. Yeah, it really lends its credence to like the messed up idea of what's going on. You know, in our actual waters and our actual, you know, places that we need to survive, and all these farming and fishing and agricultural centers that we have in this country. And this is 6 years after An Inconvenient Truth, which was a huge documentary about climate change. And so people really were thinking about it after that. They were like the general public was far more aware of it and far more like alerted to what was going on, and so
I mean this is around the same time of like that not that long after that was like The Day After Tomorrow came out. Fucking Roland Emmerich was making a climate change movie. And Barry Levinson made a climate change, you know, like. And
everyone remembers Paris Hilton's important speech about climate change. She said, "That's hot."
That's hot.
That's hot.
So, also, this movie is about icky bugs, and that does terrify me beyond normal levels.
There's some fucking seriously
icky
creepy
bugs.
images in this movie.
Yeah, like really gross.
Oh, man. You should see Phenomena about Jennifer Connelly playing a girl who can control bugs with her mind.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man. So cool.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So, what's interesting to me, you know, despite all of this, you know, red herring of an ecological disaster. This film takes place in Maryland. Yeah. Which is also where the Blair Witch is. So what if the Blair Witch is actually responsible? This is like one of like this is like a biblical plague that she's unleashing on the populace here. How close is Chesapeake Bay to Blair, Maryland?
Blair, Maryland is a made-up place.
Exactly, so they're right next to each other.
I have no idea.
They could be right next, they're in the same county.
They could be.
No, but Ellie Kedward was a good witch.
Whoa.
She was an Earthchild.
See, and it has all those things you love. It has evil politicians
covering
up
this guy,
terrible crimes to the detriment of all around them.
Yeah. It's got, I love this weird detail. I have a theory about this. That the whole thing is caused by chicken shit in Chesapeake Bay with like so many steroids in it that it's like
and all
the fact they could have picked anything and they picked chicken shit, and to me it's like, are they like insinuating like the chicken shit politicians who aren't doing shit about fucking the environment
and
global
also
warming?
this is real problems we're having. All this agricultural runoff
and it is
that goes
like
into
excrement.
our water and seeps into our groundwater and fucks with us, and you know, they don't line these ponds correctly. They have all these like big runoff ponds. They don't line them correctly. They don't dispose of it correctly.
And it's such a perfect like
because it's all expensive
intersection of hard sci-fi and pseudo sci-fi, pseudoscience of the chicken shit. Like that's a believable, and then the steroids in it make super grow the fucking little plankton and
if we
it's
let
such a perfect little cocktail.
If we let our species die from climate change, then all that will be left of us is found footage. That will be what the aliens find.
They'll find our footage.
And they won't be able to distinguish found footage movies.
So,
I love this.
From reality.
He keeps on going through like they use it on the lawns.
Yeah.
They fucking he drinks it. You know, like oh god.
So, a byproduct. So he chose to use found footage format after thinking about the Pompeii disaster and noting that if such a disaster happened today, there would be much more evidence of what happened with him. Telling Yahoo, for the very first time in history, you can get a picture of that town if you collect all the footage from everyone's cell phones and digital cameras, etc. A byproduct of the format was that much of the footage was able to be shot by the actors themselves, as opposed to more traditional camera crew. So there you go. There you have budget cuts.
Well,
if you film the actors are doing
I still
it,
have it on screen. I actually wrote around in one of these little things.
Those little rickshaws.
I think it's they call it a Surrey. I think.
Yeah.
It's really fun. When I used to go on vacation in Colorado, you could like rent them, and it's fun. You just like ride around. And pedal
they made
around.
this for $2 million.
And they used the actors to film a lot of it. So
that's genius.
Cut down on crew.
I love this
genius.
first like inciting event here is so creepy of just like the lady screaming
For
The
help.
one lady is screaming in the middle of like and then these this
and
part.
then just as
no.
a chain reaction.
Yeah, it just starts to domino.
You know what's cool?
and
What's
go
what's sort of
poorly.
interesting about like this? I haven't been able to find anything on this, but the way they kind of are having it happen is kind of like red tide. So in Florida here,
interesting.
we get this situation, especially on the Gulf Coast, where we have this like tide, this algae that sort of overproduces because of all the fertilizer that we put into our water.
Yeah.
And every now and again it can come and it burns you. And so like if people we have warnings about it now and we tell people to stay out of the water, but before the warnings people would be in the water and all of a sudden they would just like burning and itching and having problems and so I kind of feel like
this
like,
is very similar.
like like the idea of like red tide. All of a sudden things are going wrong on people and you don't know why and you have to figure out it's this like irritating thing that they have on them.
If anything, the only thing I think really held this movie back from being more successful is maybe the title was too generic.
Generic, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Also, possibly
like you want to keep the mystery.
The marketing
but,
budget.
Right.
You know, they only paid $2 million for it, so how much did they really sell?
No, but this was like following the Paranormal Activity model, which is like you make it cheap, and then you see if the audience, bites.
Response.
Which is, I think, a lot of what Oren probably likes to produce. He likes to produce found footage or smaller budget films. That's kind of like his thing.
Like, I remember when I originally watched this, one of my beasts was like, especially with early found footage movies, was like, who is assembling this footage?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
If everyone died.
And when you make it a mockumentary like that, you just have an easy answer for that question. I love these, like, there's this, like, also this commentary on, like, bureaucracy and how slow it is to respond to things like this, because they have to go through their whole thing, and then fucking somebody from the military comes and calls them and says, hey, we have this report from, like,
this is also
2 weeks ago.
What's fun, too, is this is also an outbreak movie. Like, it's so many different things.
Mm-hmm.
It's, eco-terror, it's an outbreak movie, it's all that kind of, it's a Jaws, like, stay out of the water.
Contagion came out in 2011.
Oh, there you go.
So Contagion had come out the year before.
And Contagion, that has aged well, and that's very disturbing. I don't like that.
Yeah.
And that made money, so they were like, okay.
Yeah.
If we have a little grosser Contagion, can we get...
I feel like this is also, like, coming around the time of a sort of... There's, like, ever since the advent of found footage, I feel like there's, like, cycles of people getting tired of it.
Yeah.
People getting, like, and this is kind of starting more of a boom. Like, I think maybe it started a while before that. Or maybe that there was, like, the first, with, like, Cloverfield and, like, and Paranormal Activity were kind of in the middle of the 2000s. And then it kind of got stale after a while a little bit, and then we started getting like the creep movies and other stuff.
Well, that's what's interesting is I feel like found footage has found its home in the streaming market. So the general audience may not go to the movie theater to watch a found footage movie.
Right.
There are far more like narrative movies, horror movies now that have become popular, including like Terrifier.
Yeah.
But on streaming, found footage is huge. And
I think it
lots
hits
of people,
harder.
like the Creeps, they've been able to make 3 Creeps because people keep watching the Creep on like Netflix and the VHSs and all those things, and I think that it might hit harder at home.
I think it hits better at home. Like there's something about it on and I know like a lot of people complain about shaky cam, and the shaky cam on the big screen is like so much more disorienting than but it's also like you're watching video camera footage. It makes sense to watch it on a television, not on a movie screen.
We're used to finding footage every day on YouTube.
Right,
random stuff coming to us on. It feels more authentic than watching it in a room with like 80 people.
YouTube is almost like the perfect place for found. Like that's where you should be putting your found footage movies, and then it's just a YouTube thing that you found. You found it. You found the footage.
I love it's like immediately when there's a baby, you're like, uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
Terror.
You see where this is going.
Terror.
Especially a movie like this, like not necessarily in a different kind of movie,
Yeah.
but a contagion movie,
Well,
there's no escape for this
Well,
baby.
they've already set up that water is the worst thing, and then
Yeah.
the baby's on
Yeah.
a boat.
The baby's on a
and
boat.
it's like,
Yeah.
oh god, no.
Oh yeah, just these little
God, yeah.
scenes of like
See, and this might be
single
footage in an
people.
action film, which is so cool though, because it adds this realism to it.
And this is also looks like the most low budget, like,
Yeah.
bitch, just
Yeah.
splash some blood on her face and her shirt, and just
Right.
walk around like you're, like, debilitated, and puke a little bit here and there.
Projectile
This
blood
also,
puke.
I picked this
is the-
movie
is the
because
best.
seriously, this is like one of the worst ways I could think to die. Like,
Oh my god, I
being
know. Just
eaten
being
from the
eaten
inside out.
yeah.
Fuck me.
Oh my
Hell
God.
no. I'm killing myself. Like,
Yeah.
there's no fucking way,
You'd
dude.
prefer
That
Freddy
cop at the
Krueger
end, like,
doing
yeah.
a tornado in your chest while you're sleeping? That's better?
Well, Freddy Krueger isn't real. Being eaten alive from the inside out could fucking happen to me.
Yeah.
Okay? There is a bacterium. One of my biggest fears is flesh-eating bacteria, dude. I don't want that shit in my life. Like, I don't want that shit in my life. So, like, the idea that little creepy bugs... And we do have parasites that eat us from the inside out. Much more slowly than these creatures.
What's the one from Venture Brothers that swims up your pee hole?
The dreaded
the
Candiru!
Candiru!
It has a penchant for swimming up a man's urethra.
That's a fish that's not even a parasite. Well, it's a parasitic fish.
Yeah.
But, like, seriously, like, we have all kinds of gross... You know, they have that whole show, it's like, what's monsters inside me, where it's like parasites in your eyes and your brain and your stomach, and you're like, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
I mean, especially like when you can. This is such a perfect like avenue to be like, okay, it's something in the water,
Mhm.
a parasite that's in the water supply of this
And-
town, and it like that's how easily a whole town can just fall apart.
And living in Florida, we have parasites in our water. We have brain amoebas that go in our ears and kill us in our brains.
I love Florida.
And we're going to the beach this week.
Woo!
Let's fucking go.
Yeah!
Let's fucking go.
Gulf Coast, baby. So yeah, as a Floridian, amoebas and parasites in the water are a true concern for me.
Yeah.
Like, so another thing I fear.
See, like this is so
Yeah.
perfectly like cheap. There's like
Yeah.
a hot dog ad over there. There's fucking
But this is what-
Osama bin Laden is
This
in the
is
fucking
what
corner.
the internet
over-
used to look
It
like
is
in
right.
2012.
No, I mean that's what's perfect about it. Like I love how like cheap it looks.
Yeah.
You know, like it's intentional, and I love that. And that's a risk to take.
Mm-hmm.
To a studio movie, Barry Levinson turning in this thing that looks like this, they were probably like, Barry, honey,
This is what you want to do?
what are you doing?
That's kind of one of the things that disappointed me about Late Night with the Devil.
It
is that
doesn't
they
look like that.
Is that they
No.
broke
Yeah.
like the style.
They broke
and
the
they
fourth
broke
wall.
I
the
actually don't
moment
think people should
to
call
make
it found footage.
theatrical.
No, I don't think so.
Because
Okay.
those behind the scene that's a movie. What are
Yeah.
you doing?
Yeah,
That doesn't look like
yeah.
behind the scenes
Like,
Yeah.
footage.
we recently rewatched it, and it's fun, but it's not. It's.
No, it's fun. Like that's what
Yeah.
I love
It's
about it. It's
half-assing
just so
being a found
fun.
footage
Yeah.
movie.
It is.
And
Like-
I hate when found footage movies do that.
Like it should be
I
more
feel
like
like
this, or
don't-
more like the
don't break your
the
format.
W Nuff Halloween special.
if you
like,
break your
you know?
format, it's like.
You have to do it
If
really
you,
well.
No, but if you break your format and then it's just a movie, and it's like it's not found footage anymore, and it's like, what exactly do you want me to take away from this? How do you want me to feel about this? Do you want me to feel like it's going to be happening to me, or
Right.
on my POV? You know, a lot of times found footage is successful because it does first person POV and
Right.
it's you in the fear. So it's like you're looking through the camera and you're looking through the thing, you know, versus the other side of like you're looking at people interacting with something.
That's the
behind
thing.
the
Like,
camera.
there's a lot of rules to making that look
Yeah.
like what it is,
Mhm.
and I feel like you can.
Oh, so gross.
You
Ugh.
can. I know. You can break those rules if you do it really well. And I don't know if you saw the TikTok that I posted of the clip from Cloverfield. There's a moment the Cloverfield, the scene in Cloverfield where they get attacked in the underground in the railroads by the little monsters, the scary ass fucking
Yeah.
little monsters. There's score. There's very, very, very hard to hear,
Yeah, no,
but
I
it's
agree.
just like a tone
Yeah.
that makes the whole scene so uncomfortable. You wouldn't notice it the first time.
It's
you would
probably
have to like
they're
look
probably
for
passing
it.
it off as subway noise.
It does kind of sound like that.
Yeah.
But, like, you have to do it real, like, there's a couple of moments in, like, The Last Exorcism where they start, like, doing music, and it's like, but I can kind of forgive it because that movie just fucking rules. But, like, yeah, there are a lot of rules, and you have to, like, be very careful about how you follow them, or if you're gonna break them, like, you gotta, like...
Okay, so this part is freaky, and I want people to understand
this.
Here's the thing. This is a real creature, okay? So, and this creature is actually this size. There is a large size version of this creature. It lives deep in the ocean. It does not come near us, but it is based on a real crustacean.
Yeah.
The parasitic crustacean depicted in the film is the Cymothoa exigua, is referred to in the Wikipedia, briefly shown in the film, described as known as a tongue-eating louse. The female parasite attaches itself to the host fish tongue, where it then extracts the host blood, causing the tongue to in fact atrophy, to then replace the fish's tongue and feed on the host blood or mucus. In the film, the townspeople are similarly found with their tongues absent.
On May 18th, this video report was
So
sent to Mayor
these
Stockton.
are real creatures, and we are just very lucky they do not eat us.
Yeah, man. Fuck, that's
we're
like...
just really lucky that they're not interested in eating us and the fish.
This movie is way too real in, like, several different ways.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what's so great about it. It's so real world. It's like, and it's getting you to think about environmental things and, like...
Outbreaks.
It's using that to terrify you. Hopefully it'll terrify you into some sort of action.
I think
you're not already...
In a post-pandemic world, too, I think this movie hits harder.
Oh, yeah.
Because this idea of, like, this thing is happening and you don't know what's going on and everyone is scared.
You don't know how to avoid it.
You don't want to go near your neighbors because you're scared, you're stuck inside, and, like, yeah.
This little subplot, too, of her, like...
Yeah.
Not having that much confidence at the beginning, and like
they put her in a soft assignment.
Is she cut out to right? And it ended up being the least soft assignment. Oh, this fucking like this is like the first like really gory, and they don't get that close to it. They're just like enough to be like, holy shit, that person is like eaten alive. And these necrosis fucking things. Oh my god, it's so
and that's the thing,
nasty.
that's what's interesting is that he tells them, at first he thinks it's some sort of like really aggressive necrotic fasciitis, necrotizing fasciitis, because it's happening so fast.
Right.
But then he realizes, okay, no, there's bugs. There's bugs in them and it's horrible.
Yeah.
Horrifying.
It's kind of like fucked up that like he doesn't even figure out that's what it is until like the last scene he's in the movie is when he's like, no, it's bugs, and we've known that for like a while at that point. And you're like, oh my god, he's just figuring this out, and he's like, now he's just about to die, and it's like, fuck. Wow.
I think also, I just, again, because now they're going back to the politician, what I really love is how this explores the idea that the greed of our leadership, if they do not take care of us, if they lead us astray, we suffer. We suffer for it, and we're in the dark for so much longer because they know what's going on and we don't, and it just adds to this horrible mistrust we have in our institutions when our politicians betray us like this.
And the cyclical nature of, like, you know, on some level, you understand that he's trying not to incite a panic. And even the people above him and the people that are trying to figure out what's going on are the military guy that calls at the end, like, we didn't want to incite a panic by setting up a station or whatever. And it's like they have to balance that.
But I'm talking about the fact that he knew the dangerous things they were doing, and the short-sighted greed of the situation is what truly causes us to suffer. You know, it's like when we look at the pandemic, the short-sighted greed and mismanagement of our president and his administration during that time caused a lot of unnecessary death.
Yeah, definitely.
And it was a nightmare because we're in the dark. We don't have any idea what's going on. They do, and they're choosing not to tell us things. And that's the scariest thing in the world, and I think that's one of the things that really frightened me about this movie, too. It's like, these people are so in the dark, but they're just suffering. And it just...
Yeah,
It's fucked.
It's
fucked.
That's such a terrifying concept to just like, we don't know what the fuck is going on, but everybody's just dying these horrible, horrible deaths. But yeah, I mean, and there really is like that like cyclical nature of like the politicians don't trust people to react rationally with some good reason, and the people end up because of that not trusting their government with good reason, and it's like that cycle just keeps happening, and like it's hard to know how to navigate that. The dog with one eye is such a weird little like, because it's like, just because of the nature of what's happening in this movie,
It's
you're like,
probably just someone's dog.
did it get eaten?
Like, but it's just someone's dog.
No, but I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
But like, just that little hint of like, oh, in this scene is so fucked up.
Oh God, I hate it.
This is like the
And this
creepiest.
is such a normal thing.
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
this
you
is
don't
You
feel
this
do
is
all
like
the time. Just hold the fish by the mouth. And
something
it's like,
that
no.
could 100%
God,
happen.
ew.
100% could happen. Ugh.
Emilio.
Oh, it's so fucked.
No, it's creepy, and
And
it
it's like, oh, I have to
I
go.
hate it. It's like a roach.
It knows
It's a
to go
roach.
back to the water.
It's like a roach. I don't like it.
It knows its way
Yeah.
back to the water. It's like, oh my god.
No, and then you realize the horror of why it's infecting us is because our bodies are 80% water, and so it just thinks we're big.
Oh, we're
puddles
just
of
big
water.
water tanks. Well, yeah.
Exactly. We're just big puddles of water.
Just drink all the water out of these humans. This is perfect. Yeah, all the different of the rumors and explanations that people are like calling into the radio.
And we laughed.
I think it's Al Qaeda or whatever it's called.
Pre-2020, we laughed at all of this.
I know.
I don't laugh anymore.
Yeah.
I don't, because we've seen
This is how fast it happens.
This is how fast it happens. This is how much misinformation spreads. We've seen it. It's literally our post-2020 world that we're living in. Like, this is it, man. We're here, dude.
It's such a worn-out cliche at this. It's such a worn-out cliche at this point to quote that Mark Twain quote of "A lie can travel 1,000 miles before the truth gets its boots on." But it's fucking true. It's a cliche for a reason, man.
Whatever sounds the
you
most
can tell
catastrophic.
1,000 lies
Yeah.
in the time it takes somebody to debunk like 2 of them.
Because the catastrophizing sounds so much more. It grips you more in your heart of like, without,
If
and the
you
sad
live-
part is, so the truth could be just as bad,
Right.
but you have to know the truth, you know?
Yeah. You would have to agree on what the truth is.
is.
Like, it's,
That's-
it's so infuriating. Oh, God. Anyway, moving.
I actually think, like, going back to my analysis of the title, The Bay, if they had tried to sell this more in a Blair Witch style,
Yeah.
like tease that this is an actual real event that occurred.
I wonder
you
if
know.
they couldn't do that just because it kind of
It would be
is.
too,
It's about a
it
real
would be
place,
too war
yeah.
Like, you
worldy.
could, like
you
they
know?
could do that with Blair Witch because it
It's
was
a fake
completely
place,
fictional
yeah.
and they had made it up.
Yeah, they run into liability.
They could,
issues.
yeah. Because this is
I
real,
also-
and if you could market it that way, it
Yeah.
would fucking kill.
I also even wonder, too, if, like, at this point, people would fall for it anymore. Because I feel like Blair
Yeah.
Witch and all those things, they tried that, but eventually people just got to the point
Well,
where,
this
like,
is 2012. People would look it
People-
up and
people-
find out that
No,
it
but
is real.
People want to suspend disbelief. Those
Yeah.
Blackwell ghost movies.
Yeah.
He pretends
Some people don't,
they're
Steven.
real on
Yeah, that's
Facebook,
true.
and he interacts with everyone
Really, like,
as if
they're
they are real.
Yeah.
Let's
on
be
Facebook.
real though. Not everybody wants to suspend disbelief. All you have to do is look at Twitter to see that. Like,
Yeah.
people are just like want to nitpick fucking bullshit. But a lot of people, a lot of movie lovers, do definitely want to suspend disbelief.
I do feel like I could probably convince someone who's offline that this is real for a second. Like, I could be like, have you seen that documentary, The Bay?
Yeah.
Because if they Googled this creature, they would see it. It's
Uh-huh.
real. They would see pictures of it, and
Oh
so
my
they're
God.
like, holy shit.
This
This is a fucking
Yeah, this is fucked up. So it's basically like they swarmed. See, like the red tide, they swarmed
Yeah.
around the bay, and then they just became like little piranhas.
Oh my god, microscopic piranhas. That's like
Yeah.
so terrifying.
Horrifying.
The thing is, like, I feel like Barry Levinson makes it look like the way this is done,
Mm-hmm.
like, you don't need $2 million to do this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he pulls off such big scares.
Yeah.
Without showing
But
you
I
anything.
think that
He
$2 million
shows so little.
Yeah,
That's the thing about
the
this
$2 million,
movie.
a lot of that is coming from the effects that they needed to do too.
Yeah, and the
makeup
extras and stuff. Yeah. But-
They had a lot of extras in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
A fucking lot
They
of
really
extras.
did, yeah. I almost wonder if maybe there was some sort of real event. I don't know, probably not, but they
That would
could
make sense.
have piggybacked off a real event
Yeah.
or something. I have no idea. Real members of... They filmed some of this in North Carolina. Some of this, actually, they filmed in Maryland, in his hometown, in his area. And then some of it somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Sometimes when I watch
America!
Yeah.
The film is... Okay, oh no, I'm sorry. The film was set in Levinson's home state of Maryland, but it was shot on locations in North Carolina and South Carolina. So it was not filmed in Maryland at all.
Whoa.
It was filmed in North Carolina and South Carolina. So yeah, I don't know if there was like a... No, maybe this was all just made up in just the boat area.
And I love the suspense now. Every time you have someone hit the water,
Every
it's
time
like,
you're-
Yeah.
oh, shit.
Even
You're, like,
near
scared.
water, it's
Yeah,
like,
you're scared.
oh god.
It's like Jaws. It's like, you know there's a shark, and you're like telling them, hey man, there's a shark, but they don't know there's a shark.
But it's worse.
We just saw a girl get
Yeah.
pulled under, so
It's-
right now
yeah.
we're like,
Yeah.
is
But
that fucking about
it's
to happen again?
It's
And then
worse.
he says it got in my mouth, and it's like,
It's worse because in Jaws you can see the fin coming.
Yeah, exactly. You can't see
Here
the
it's in
monster.
you before you figure out it's
Mhm.
fucking there.
Mhm. That's where a lot of the horror is like invisible. It's like insinuations of what's happening.
There's
And
a lot-
that's so
Yeah.
good. I
and
love
see
that.
this could probably be a real statistic for the Bay, like for Chesapeake Bay. And
This was a weird choice to me, where he's like weirdly like correcting her and like complaining about her pronunciation and stuff.
I think I don't know, I think that it kind of
It's so random.
It kind of implies they were fucking. Or maybe
Oh,
they
yeah.
had an ex. I don't know. I don't know if I'm assuming that they had an ex relationship or like whatever, or just kind of combative. Cause
I
they
think
lived
that's
in-
just them trying to sprinkle reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People fight
For the
about trying to
authenticity.
produce things, and they get tired and they're
Yeah.
stressed out.
And
Right.
people want to make things also sometimes appear more dire than they are to get
Their tongue's gone. Ugh.
people's
Yeah.
reaction.
God, it's so gross.
Yes, of course I gave them penicillin.
So yeah,
What-
like this is another thing that, if for me as someone who is interested and researches and about biology and the environment, environmental issues, that concept of like the loss of those animals like oysters that clean the water, that filter water, it's so like that's what makes this more scary. Is there really is a lot of truth in the horror of this, basically the disruption of the balance of nature.
Mhm.
You've disrupted the balance, and we see it every day. It causes us problems. We literally have just had 2 of the most powerful hurricanes
Yeah.
in the last 20 years and
There's-
beyond
I feel
because
like-
of the disruption of the balance of nature that we've caused.
I feel like a lot of people would like criticize this as like exposition dump. To me, these scenes where they're just talking about what's happening and you're hearing about the horrors that are happening and it's all off screen
Yeah.
and it's all very
I like
clinical.
that stuff.
I think it's fucking more
Yeah,
terrifying
I do
in its
too.
own way.
I like
Because
it.
of that. Like
It's
hiding
scary.
what's happening
Yeah.
and making it so matter of fact because they have to be because they're trying to solve this problem.
I think it's scary.
Is so much more scary
Yeah.
in its own way, you know?
Yeah.
And I like that, like, you have like these like fish autopsies going
Yeah.
on,
I know.
and this is supposed to be like weeks ahead.
Weeks before the event.
That's
that-
one of the cool things too. Is like it's going back and forth between exposition of July 4th and then going back 3 weeks, going back
And it
2
also
weeks,
goes
going
into,
back
again, the failure of the government. They were warned.
of the bureaucracy
They
to
were
not
warned that
pass
this
those
was-
reports around.
And to literally keep people out of the water. They should have shut the bay down.
Yeah.
Weeks before this happened. They should have made people not get in the water. It was a big deal.
I really liked how at the end the CDC guys being like, really, it took 3 weeks for this to get to us.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Okay, bye.
They would have actually probably put these people. They would not have been allowed to drink their own water. They would have been on a bottled water, like no tap water. These people would have been cut off from all sources of water.
Yeah, but anybody who's alive, they're gonna get an
God,
Aaron Brockovich deal. They're gonna get everything they ever needed for their next 2 months of existence.
I love these little there are no records they ever responded. Mayor Stockman's like ducking.
But what's amazing about that is because literally that's what happens every single time. Every single time there's a poisoning, there's a pollution, there's something that affects the tap water of people. It always somehow goes back to, we sent emails about this, we told y'all about this, and y'all said, clickety-click, we're fine.
Oh my God! If you watch this, there's this mini-series on Hulu called The Looming Tower about how the failures of communication between the CIA and FBI could have easily prevented 9/11 from happening.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean it's fucked, and all because of like interagency rivalries and like they didn't want to share their information.
Yes. So much of
they didn't trust these people.
The disasters of human life are interpolitical problems, are failures to communicate. Like, human communication is the most powerful thing we have.
And ego too, man.
Yeah,
like,
the failures to communicate.
Oh man, that lady.
We literally have the power that animals don't have. This power to communicate, and we still fuck shit up all the time. And it's like, oh dear Lord.
But we use that power to communicate on podcast, baby.
Yeah, baby.
The ultimate
communication
form of media.
is hard, man. Like, words are so insufficient to communicate what we experience as humans, and yet they're all we have.
Yeah.
And that's a conundrum.
You know, animals don't have that shit. They have communication, but they don't have,
Yeah, I mean, the language for, like, complex ideas, definitely not. Yeah, it's...
Yeah, I love it.
Why is it creepier as a photo negative?
What I also enjoy is that the CDC in this is kind of... They're not... I mean, I wouldn't call them heroes because they can't... They're trying their best,
jobs.
But they're doing their jobs.
They're doing their jobs.
And nowadays, we have so much mistrust of this... Or been instilled mistrust of the CDC. And it's fucked up. But, like, they're... In so many of these outbreak movies, they're the heroes. They come in and they help us. Yeah. And now people literally look at them like the enemy. And that's so fucking scary to me. That's so terrifying to me.
Really... What's really scary about it is that the reason why there's that mistrust is because they kept changing their views and their recommendations during the pandemic, because that's what happens with science. You find new information and you change your recommendations, and people that made people mistrust them, and then that's so fucked up and scary that makes people know that's how science works.
But also they were politicized completely. The CDC was politicized, and that to me is one of the scariest things in the world, is that an institution that we have that should not be politicized in any form or fashion has now been politicized. Yeah. So what are we doing in the future? Like, where are we going? And when I watch this movie now, these are the kinds of things
this is why this movie's too fucking real, man. It gets you thinking about all this shit, man. And like that, oh man, that report I just saw from the people, from the scientists talking about how the carbon sinks might be failing, and it might accelerate the timeline of climate change to, like, within 5 to 10 years, ecosystems might start collapsing.
Yay!
Yo, Barry Levinson, let's go!
Scary, man.
Make a movie called The Ecosystem.
Like,
there was bitch collapse.
And this is all on Twitter, so, like, who knows for sure, but, like, there was, like, this guy that was claiming to be a climate scientist saying, like, if you live near the equator, move away.
Yay!
And I was like, okay, great.
Well, my name is Equator Jones, and I'm fucked.
Yeah, it's super great.
We almost are worse off because we live right next to the Tropic of Cancer. Do you know how many
people live by the equator? It's like most of the humans. So, what the fuck are you talking about, bro?
We live right next to the Tropic of Cancer, which in summer is basically the equator. It is the closest point. Yeah. And that's where it's fucking hot, man.
You can't just tell people to leave.
god.
Maybe
You can't.
we should just
I need
buy.
to go to Colorado, man.
No, let's buy real estate in Antarctica. Let's settle it.
it's gonna be
We'll be
prime
rich.
real estate in like 50 years.
They're
man.
gonna want it. They're gonna want to come there to our Starbucks.
Oh, this is a fun movie. This is a doomsday movie.
This is a doomsday movie.
It is.
And
but
that was his
it's-
intention, to talk about the effects of climate change, to talk about the
It's
effects
it almost has the same effect as like Threads. You've seen Threads, right?
Yeah,
About the
British
nuclear bomb
Yeah.
in
of...
England.
yeah.
That movie is way too fucking real. That's one movie I will not watch again. Because it's not an enjoyable experience.
No,
it's amazing.
It's unfun.
It's an incredible movie. I give it 5 stars, but I'm never fucking watching that movie again. It's way too real. And becomes like more and more real every day. It's terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
The other amazing thing about this movie too is like you can kind of tell these extras like they're not the greatest actors.
No.
But just by slowing down the footage
Mm-hmm.
and just like getting them to make like the right facial expression,
Yeah.
The editing in this
It
movie.
Is
it
excellent.
makes it like,
It's
oh yeah, they're
so
suffering.
good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
God.
there's like a little boy with
the
his mouth open.
intercutting
Like,
of the
Oh.
mayor talking and the constant like amputations
Yeah,
they have
man.
to do
Oh my
are
god.
just so effective and powerful. Like I.
And there's a certain point in the movie. Oh, this is so like no. What are you doing? Shit, I lost it.
I love how the camera just is totally on its side. You know what I mean? Like to make it even more creepy. You know?
Well, that's kind of what's interesting is that in that moment, right, he is infected because he puts his face in the water, and so the
Right.
camera on its side is like his world is literally turning upside down in that
Mhm.
moment, just by that
Yeah.
simple choice,
But
and that's
Film language.
But only
yeah.
in found footage can you like
literally turn
can
the
you
camera on
pull that, you know
Yeah.
what I mean, on its head. Like if somebody did that in a stylistic movie, people would be like, what the fuck? They just turn the camera.
The only person that
Yeah,
does that is like
crazy ass
Gaspar. No, whatever.
its
However.
side. No,
the
yeah,
fuck-
guess we're no. Yeah.
He's fucking turning the camera upside down.
Yeah, Enter the
fucking-
Void. Yeah.
Well, no, all of it, the Irreversible and Climax, like all those movies have that shit. He does it like fucking ballet, but like, yeah.
But there's a poetry to that. And then also
Yes,
I
absolutely.
love the little subtle aspect ratios changing
Mhm.
Yeah.
Of the
of
different
all the
formats.
different
This is-
footage
yeah,
and
right.
formats everything is on. Like that gives things like sort of a comic book style power of like now it's a closer shot and
The
there's more
editor
black
of this
frame.
movie is Aaron Yanis, and he's done mostly TV.
Oh yeah.
In his recent stuff.
That's probably the best experience you'll get for.
Warrior, Seed,
editing a found
Clover, The
footage movie.
Sinner. He used to do more movies before that.
Well,
He did-
Barry Levinson's doing a lot of TV now
He
too.
did the Europa Report in 2013, which we also like. He edited some
Was that the one that we
documentaries.
watched on vacation?
Yeah.
Oh, that was interesting. That was like it's like a found footage movie,
In
but
space.
about a space exploration.
Yeah.
This movie, like, man, I just keep thinking about, like, you would never guess that this movie is directed by the guy who made, like,
Rain
Good
Man.
Morning Vietnam and Rain Man and The Natural, like...
Maybe that's why he wanted to do it too. Like we wanted to play around with the formatting and his, different like styles and genres, which is always fun.
I like filmmakers like that. I think, like, probably my favorite filmmaker is because of specifically that, which is Richard Linklater. Like, every one of his movies is, like, a completely different thing than the last.
Mm-hmm.
This scene, oh my god, with that fucking wailing in the background.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, what is going on?
Yeah, it's so messed up.
It's to me it reads as like people in their homes
Yeah, it's
suffering.
fine. Yeah.
And it's like, oh.
And it's very interesting in a way because I think Barry Levinson's very genius because like in the Al Gore documentary,
Mhm.
like he talks about how the planet would change. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't really see the human
The fine details.
Aspect.
the details of the human suffering
Yes.
that would occur. You know what I mean?
That is
and
occurring.
it takes
Yeah.
it takes the horror genre, you know what I mean, to depict that in a fictional way so that we can, you know, even get a glimmer
understand
of it.
Yeah.
That's why people talk about, like, why horror, why this, and it's like, horror can be anything, horror can do anything, and sometimes it's one of the only ways we have to process the truly terrifying things in our reality, you know?
Yeah.
Like...
There's I can't remember if he was talking about science fiction or horror, but I feel like that it applies to both, that Rian Johnson has this thing about, like, I don't even look at it as a genre, really. It's like a quilt that you put over whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, you can do anything within that space. You know, you can make that. I mean, I don't know if there's any other, maybe comedy that you can mix with any other genre. Action horror, you know, sci-fi horror, you know, like horror drama,
for people
horror
that
comedy.
Don't understand why, like, people love horror, you know, I'll just say this, like, the thing about a horror movie is it ends. I watch something for 90 minutes, it scares me, and then it's over. You know, some people go, but there's, like, real terrible things. I'm like, those terrible things never end. There's no end in sight for the terrible things outside in the real world. When I watch a horror movie, it's like I have control over, like, the processing of terrible things. You know?
One of the things that I came to realize the more I became a horror fan is, like, a lot of people's reasoning for not liking horror movies is like, why would I voluntarily want to be scared? I don't like being scared. And I didn't realize until I started getting really into it, I can't tell you how many of my favorite horror movies are not scary at all. That's not why I like them. It's campy. It's, you know, it can do so many other different things. It can be just fun and bloody.
Yeah, but even if it does scare
it doesn't
you,
have to be
there's
scary.
a controlled fear there. You understand? Like, you're choosing to be scared.
There's a
like,
violence, definitely,
people talk about, why would I choose to be scared? Because it's, and well, for some, especially for people with anxiety, they've studied, and I've said this before on a different podcast, it provides release. So it allows you to control your anxiety through watching something that frightens you, and you exert it. So, like, going on a roller coaster. You know what I mean? It's I get on a roller coaster, I scream, I feel that exertion, that rush of adrenaline, and it's in a control state.
I think also it's a way for people to confront death, confront violence, confront evil, confront all these different things that we need to try to understand in our world if we're going to, you know, deal with them. And doing it in a controlled space, you know, like, it shows you, like, people are like, oh, it's so perverse to watch that violence. But
this
like,
was one of my favorite scenes of this movie, is that it's just all the audio. You know what I mean? And I really...
Those little things like that, yeah.
That
let your imagination make the horror.
And I also feel like this is the benefit of having someone like Barry Levinson doing this kind of movie, and writing this kind of movie, and is that he sort of, what's kind of be cinematic? What's going to be, like, filmic? Like, this.
Well, and a seasoned veteran will have the confidence to take that risk.
Yeah.
A less confident director
will,
like,
we have to show it.
No, we have to show it. Like, it's not going to hit.
But I feel like they show enough, you know? Like, you don't...
The Flash,
They give you gore, but this is such a great moment, because it's like, they don't give you anything but just the terror.
That's why I love those CDC scenes that a lot of people probably wouldn't like as much or find boring. It's like, they're just talking so matter-of-factly about horrifying things that are happening. This shot, oh my god.
Fish kill,
I wonder whether that's like...
It's digital.
CGI.
It's digital. Because there's a glimmer on the fish that they're trying to capture, like, the life.
It looks fucking good.
It looks really good.
It looks fucking good, especially if, like, 2012. I mean, 2012 was pretty good.
See, that's
CGI,
a real photo.
Oh, yeah.
That is a real photo of a Senmosa exwa. That's actually the Wikipedia photo if you look it up. So.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
It's fucked.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
This movie is fucked,
It's
bro.
actually an isopod, and isopods.
But only does this to fish, right?
Yes, it only does this to fish.
It doesn't do this to us. We're higher
They're
organisms.
related.
Unless it eats chicken shit with steroids in it.
No!
They're related to roly-polies. So you know those cute little roly-poly isopods you see on the ground?
I never said anything is cute.
A
Like
bug?
whole bug.
There's cute bugs
There's
everywhere.
cute bugs?
I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Well, I'm sorry for you, but
I
there are
don't-
cute
I
bugs.
disagree.
Crab spiders are so cute.
They're cute.
No.
I think there's cute bugs. So remember when you were a kid, you loved to play with roly polies. You'd like to make
Bumblebees.
them roll up into little balls. Well, bees are related to them, and they eat fish tongues. Isn't that nice?
Oh no, the roly-polies are gonna eat our tongue!
There's lots of little bugs in this world that are the cleanup crew of our environment, and they're the reason that we're not covered in dead things. They're the reason
There's a lot of good
there's not
dates.
rotted meat everywhere.
There's a lot of good horror dates on this calendar,
Yeah.
right? Could you make and sell a calendar that is like 365 days of the year, like one of those little like pull things,
Mm-hmm.
and then each day
Is a horror date?
is a date.
Ooh, that
in
would
a
be fun
horror
to
movie.
do. We could do
We
that.
could totally do that.
Is each date?
No,
is a
I
date
still
in a horror.
copyright. Copyright. Patent pending.
It would just be a challenge, maybe, to find one for every single day of the
No,
year.
but
You
you
could probably
could-
find one at least
No, but
weekly.
if
for
you
sure.
had to like bend on the fact, you could just be like, oh, this movie was released on this date.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, if you had to.
Yeah.
Or you could just
But-
do like like a calendar of horror dates, like calendar of horror. Ooh, spooky.
Was it August 23rd or 24th that the day that Texas Chainsaw Massacre happened?
No idea the nightmare.
Yeah, there's some moments of narration that are like
Well, he's also filming a documentary.
unnecessary.
They're filming a documentary, so they're trying
Yeah.
to be like, dramatic.
Jacques Cousteau.
Yeah, exactly. They're trying to film a Cousteau-style documentary.
Oh, I mean, that's the thing, like, that's almost the genius of what he's doing is, like, even the things that seem like mistakes
Mm-hmm.
are most likely done on purpose. And, like, you can't really tell the difference, so I tend to just chalk it up to, like, that was done intentionally to make it look like this specific thing.
So we're thinking about like scary things that happen as a consequence of us rapidly changing our environment.
Yeah.
Rapid ice loss is causing all this bacteria that's been frozen for a millennia that we thought it must be dead. It can't be alive. And yet, in like the Arctic, some anthrax came out.
We're so cooked.
Anthrax came out
What?
because
That's
some of the ice melted and this ancient anthrax that was just chilling,
Wow.
you know what I mean, decided to emerge from the ice.
Mm.
We don't understand the resilience that some of these little creatures have.
That's another thing
you
of
know?
this
Millions of
movie,
years.
like, it would be really, it would cost a lot of money to realistically depict this in any other format than
Mhm.
found footage.
Yeah.
Where you can obscure a lot of what
Mhm.
you're doing.
It's true.
Because this is a
It would
difficult
actually
thing to
also
depict.
probably look less
Less realistic.
terrifying, less
Yeah.
real.
It would absolutely look less realistic.
Yeah.
For sure.
July 4th, 8:58.
Oh, this is where they fucking come into the ghost town and oh man. I love that. The wave reflections on the wall there.
Mhm.
First time I watched this, I was like, they're like, yeah, I hear it, and I was like, what are they? Are you talking about the music? Because that's like pretty loud. So
Yeah.
yeah, I hear it.
Yeah, I hear it,
But
I
they're
got
not,
it.
obviously.
Mm-mm.
Mhm.
Aw, you could not pay me.
Yeah, right.
I mean, she's trapped there, so she might as well get
Like, right, like what
Like,
she
they
gonna
can't
do?
go anywhere.
I like a horror movie trope that as like the movie gets along, like it ends at night.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then also the trope of like the military coming in at the end of the movie
Mm.
when it's too late.
Yeah. It's like, oops.
Hey guys, can we help?
What?
You need anything?
Just hanging out. But I really do love how this whole place is like turned on its head. It's cool. It's creepy.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
really creepy.
It just like destroyed the whole town.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy.
In like such a short span of time.
Oh, blood. blood on the face.
Girl, you're doing so good.
This is like one of the, like, okay, how did she survive? Because she just got blood on her.
Yeah, but the blood may not have had the parasite. Like, she may have gone lucky.
Maybe.
Because the whole point is that the parasites grow into larger size isopods and then emerge out of them. So,
Yeah.
and the eggs are in the water. So when you interact with the water, it's getting into your pores and your skin and your mouth,
Yeah.
and so and in your mucous membranes, and that's what's happening.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting how many horror movies are related to our connection with water. You know what I mean?
Well, Earth is 70%.
Yeah, I mean,
80% water,
that's
so. We're 80%
that's the one
water.
thing more than anything else that if it goes away, we're fucked.
It's also, the ocean is also the place least explored. We have explored less of the ocean than...
We explored like more space than we have in the
Yes, more space than we have
That
in the
was
ocean.
the statistic that Sequest gave us.
No, but I think
in the mid-90s.
No, I think it's a real statistic.
I don't know if that's James Cameron.
Maybe like in total area, but
James
in
Cameron's-
terms of percentage.
James Cameron's been
Definitely
down
not.
there. He saw it. There's not that much to see.
There is.
No, there's a lot of unexplored.
We gotta go watch Avatar 3 and 4.
There's a lot of unexplored oceans simply because there's ocean we can't even access because it's too deep for
This
us.
girl's really good.
Or there's
her
like
thing.
volcano
No, not the
activity
iPhone
that we
camera
can't
roll.
go near because it's hot.
July 4th. Bunch of dead shit in the water.
Yes, we still know more. As of 2022, ocean.org, we still know more about space than we do about the ocean.
Why can't someone invent an ocean telescope? What
The
fuck?
ocean depths!
Let's
The
go,
ocean
bro.
depths are still 95% unexplored.
Let's go. We're only coming up
Okay.
with genius ideas on
Another
this
Because
podcast.
space is empty. You can look out, really far. And
Well, also a lot of the shit we've sent satellites
Yeah.
out, and we can see a lot of stuff.
And
we
we've
kinda-
sent Jim Cameron's down.
Well, Jim has not explored 90. He's 95. He better get to working before he dies. You gotta get to the other 95%. Jim, get to work. Stop making avatars, Jim.
I think he's having kids. They'll probably do it.
Send you
It'll
down in
be
the ocean.
fine.
He has kids.
Yeah, and they'll probably explore the world for us. The Camerons.
So like, Dad, I want to be a musician. Damn it, no. You'll be an oceanographer and you like it.
I just spent $1 billion on a crypto coin. I'm even richer now, Dad.
Okay, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. See here, she interacts with the
Okay,
water.
but this is fresh water.
Is it?
Yes.
Is that what it is?
It's the fountain water, I think. I don't know. Maybe she's got lucky.
She hasn't washed it off her face really that
That's
well.
true. Yeah, she hasn't.
Not really. But she's
Oh wait!
been
Look!
used-
Look! And I think he tells her to stop. I think, if I remember correctly, the scene.
She obviously doesn't put any in her mouth.
No, she doesn't.
She only drinks Pepsi.
But if
See,
it touches...
look. Look! See, he tells her. He tells her not to touch it.
Oh, this beautiful
Yeah.
board
Awful.
right here with the
Awful.
teeth. Oh my god.
Yeah, see, exactly. Girl, look at me, I was running in a
circle.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, that for me, I'm like, all right, I'm done. Retirement,
Yes.
I'm good. I'm gonna go, like, open a kitten cafe or something. Like, fuck this shit. I'm done. Kitties only for the rest of my life.
It's a good ending for a movie.
Just open a cat cafe?
Just like you start like someone trying to put like a
They
million
should do a
cats.
Scream movie. Oh my god, the next Scream movie, Sydney should open a cat cafe. But I don't expect them to do anything. I don't know. I'm so just... Never mind. Let's not talk about
It makes more sense at the end of like a mummy movie.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm never gonna fuck with mummy again. So I have
Oh
8,000
yeah,
cats
that's
now
smart. You have a cat
to
cafe
protect me.
to keep you away from the mummy.
And the cats are playing with the toilet paper.
See,
so it
and
gets
to me,
unraveled.
it's so terrifying that they were like, oh, we're gonna get here and everyone's gonna be having a good time. And you come into this wreck, this complete ghost
Yeah,
town.
you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
700 people.
Yeah, that's right. That's more kills than Jason Voorhees, motherfucker.
Whoa.
In one day, boom.
Isopod 700, Jason Voorhees like 15.
One, for fairness to Jason, his IQ is very low. So he is shooting above his average.
He is a zombie, basically.
Yeah.
Is he a zombie? He's kind of a zombie, right?
He's like dead.
He's like undead.
In the... After the third movie, he's undead.
Okay.
Okay.
He's kind of possibly alive in 2
Yeah,
and
it's
3.
time to leave. I think
Yeah,
you should
man,
get on
why
the
are
boat
you
and
getting
just go.
closer and closer
You have
to
a
this?
baby. Yeah,
He just wants to cop a feel.
he sucks. See, once again, a dumb man
Yep.
causing problems. His wife is telling him, "Don't freaking touch
That's
it."
like the whole storyline of the first 3 Paranormal
Paranormal
Activity movies.
Oh, I'm sorry. I rewatched Paranormal Activity, and I actually think of it as a story about an abusive relationship.
Oh, for sure.
Because
the
he,
second
things
one
that
is
he
too.
does, the things that he does, the boundaries that he
He's
pushes
fucked
with
up.
her.
Oh my god.
It's so horrible.
That's what that.
And
I'm telling you,
it
I've been
sucks,
singing this
yeah.
song for years. That's what
Yeah.
those movies are about, man.
Abusive relationships.
Oh my
because
god. The second one is
seriously-
like that too, and
Yeah.
he's like almost worse.
Yeah.
He fires the fucking Hispanic maid
Yeah.
for burning sage in the
Yeah.
fucking house. He's the worst. And then the third one is in the 90s, and it's their dad,
Yeah.
and he's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s. So how far have we come?
But I really do. I really think the first one, especially, just because, I mean, to talk about another found footage, she tells him she's not comfortable, and he doesn't care.
Mhm.
He doesn't care.
I love this review of all of the creepiest moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Just
putting
in the third act, like
putting
add
all
it
of this,
up.
putting
Yeah.
all of this in the context of what we've learned now.
Will you
and
get
be-
me to
and
the
seeing,
White House?
like, all
See,
the
and that's
clips.
when you know the shit has hit the fan. Call the White House now.
Yeah.
Obama?
That's true. This was Obama.
Obama? You let these goddamn isopods in here?
To let them cross the borders
Obama!
illegally.
Obama let these illegal isopods invade. When was the Ebola outbreak? Hold on.
Oh wow.
Yeah, when was that old Ebola outbreak? 2014.
Oh, 2 years later.
That was
Oh,
2
yeah.
years later. Yeah, but
He
that's...
predicted it, man.
Oh, no. Listen, I'm tired of little bugs trying to kill me, dude.
Yeah,
I'm
for
done. I mean, I don't know how you continue. I don't understand. Like, to me, this is his fault. How do you not just get on your boat?
Right?
Like what the fuck are
Get
you
the
doing?
fuck on the boat and
Get
get
on
out
your
of here.
boat.
Except for him, it doesn't matter. He fell in the water
that's-
already.
He jumped in the water, yeah.
This is the greatest production
I thought he
value
fell.
ever.
Did he fell?
I think he fell.
She pushed him.
I think, yeah.
That's right, she pushed him.
This is the greatest production value ever of just hire a bunch of extras
Yeah.
just to lay down
Yeah. And it's creepy.
and just walk around.
And
them.
it's freaking creepy.
You know, they don't have to do much work. They just have to bear being on the floor.
Even the wandering into this store full of just, like, cherry wood is so, like, weirdly ominous.
Yes. Does this furniture really match the aesthetic of a bay town? Just saying.
There's always that one restaurant that just does its own thing.
But it is a furniture store, so I guess they're just saying like people really like cherry wood in their house.
That's like a Stephen level nitpick, man.
That's I'm sorry. No, I'm not. No. I'm not saying that they were wrong for picking the cherry
No,
wood.
no.
I'm just saying it's interesting to me that this
Oh, yeah.
furniture store would exist in this bay town. Do
Yeah.
they really like cherry wood?
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe Barry Levinson is taking this from his experience. Or maybe because it was filmed in South Carolina, North Carolina, it's a southern furniture store. And there you go. You never know. I also just, like, is it even a small-town horror movie if you just don't have an incompetent mayor just making everything worse? Like, you know, you gotta have that. You gotta have that guy.
And incompetent police. And,
Uh-oh.
Slow, creepy walk.
He's like, get out of here, bro.
Go away.
Get out of here, bro. Get out of here, though. Yeah.
Yeah, he's holding his gun. Yeah.
He's telling you to go away.
You should leave. You should probably go away. Come on.
Come on, Jim, get in the car. No, I will not.
Did you see his face? You're telling him to get in the car? What's wrong with you?
Mm-mm. And look at him. I actually really like this actor's performance because he's kind of like making the decision, like, when do I pull the gun on them, or do I not pull the gun on them, or do I shoot
And
myself?
when do I pull the gun out of myself?
Oh my.
My flesh. Yeah, man, I would definitely for sure off myself at this point.
Yeah, but I couldn't do it. Oh. Oh shit.
He fucking shoots him.
Yeah, because he's like a fate worse than death. To be eaten alive. It's
yep, no.
Suck it, Mayor.
Seriously, this police officer is one of the best performances in the movie. Good job, actor man. I don't know his name. I'm not gonna like look up
And the
random...
mayor with his mouth agape.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
You dum-dum.
What?
Now I gotta drive.
Oh no, not Miss Marilyn. Miss Crab? Is that her name?
Miss Crustacean.
Miss Crustacean? Oh no.
And at the beginning of the movie she says every girl wants to be
I
Miss
know, she said-
Mm.
I know. Hopefully it'll be pedestal into bigger and better things.
Well, heaven must be the biggest, bestest thing.
Yeah.
I guess
It's the
so.
greatest.
That's where you're going.
Bestest Miss Crustacean ever.
That's a
good one. Oh.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I always like wonder, I'm like, do you like, is it, I always feel like it's like, okay, do your friends play lots of pranks on you? Because if your friend doesn't play lots of pranks on you, if they call you into this bunch of dead bodies, you believe them, right? Like, unless it's like your prank friend, like, oh, that's just Jim, our prank friend. But like, if they're not
really
your prank
seem
friends,
like prank people.
exactly, they seem like,
right?
like not prank people.
No, like,
But,
what?
you know, maybe they're the people that are not good at jokes, so it's
He's
like,
He's just in denial. He's like, nah.
Oh God, oh,
Yeah,
so gross. And they saved one of the best gross outs for laughs. They just were like, oh yeah, you're gonna see it.
Oh, this fucking with the that red siren thing.
And I think what's really
How has he survived this long? That's insane.
Yeah, I
He's
think
a good doctor.
Yeah.
maybe he drinks a lot of bottled
He
water.
stays sterile. He washes his hands very, very cleanly.
Maybe spending a lot of time in the hospital, he isn't exposed to that much of the ocean water. If you ain't coming here.
Does this movie pass the Stephen rubric?
What is the poop?
Is there a bathroom? Is there poop pee? Is there bodily functions?
There's bodily functions. There's vomit.
Bro,
There's vomit.
chicken
Lots of
shit is the
chicken
whole
shit.
reason.
Yeah, but it's not human fecal matter.
Oh,
But there's
no,
vomiting.
it has to be human?
It's not human excrement. It's not. Have we seen a toilet?
It's vomit.
We've seen a toilet.
It's vomiting. It's vomiting.
Or a toilet
We've
location?
seen vomiting, yeah. We've
Yeah,
seen blood
vomiting.
puke.
We've seen vomiting, and we've seen children. They're kind of a bodily function. I guess.
Oh
Human
man!
bodily
Wow.
So suffering,
Okay, JD Vance.
suffering
What
children.
the hell?
Suffering children is a bodily
Oh
function.
God. Ugh.
Crawling in her leg.
Gross.
This this movie would be great to play.
See, and he finally got it.
In like, there's that at Epcot at Disney World when they used to have the Honey I Shrunk the Kids experience, and there's like that moment where like they have like this like little like rubber string underneath your chair
for the rats that are crawling under your seat. Yeah.
Like, this would be a great movie to just, like, put, like, that thing at the end of the movie under people's chairs. Like, oh, no!
That could be the RPX.
And then you serve them lemonade throughout the whole movie.
See, and that moment with his eyes is almost the most
editing.
cinematic kind of thing going on now. Like, is this this choice to film his eyes like this?
Well, I think it's
basically
the
found
editor.
footage. Yeah.
I think it's like cheesy documentary
trying to make
editing.
It cinematic.
That's
I
one of the
know,
things
and
I love.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that they're blurring the sort of poor Mayor John Stockman.
Better to die that way.
See, look, and he got his karmic death. He got his karmic death.
No emergency services available. I love that little. The whole town is just
this is so bad.
decimated. Oh yeah. Oh my god. At what point do you run away?
And my thing
it is kind of interesting that this last location is such a colonial looking setting. You know, with like antlers on the wall.
What's really horrifying, right, is like how they contain this. How do they contain this in the water?
Yeah,
like,
you can't. I mean,
But they had to, obviously, because it's like not spreading everywhere. The end of the movie doesn't imply that it spread everywhere. It implies that this was a isolated incident.
Yeah.
The Chesapeake Bay feeds the Atlantic, so
that's true.
It could happen.
Oh.
Whoa, the Bay 2.
The Bay 2, the Atlantic.
The Atlantic.
Hey, Governor, there's a goddamn bug in me fucking face. Oi.
What is this? What is it? 1882
Oi, Governor.
on the open seas.
Oi, Mr. Scrooge.
Mr. Scrooge.
I got one of you gooses, but it's full of
gross! It's gross.
Not a neck popper.
I feel like at this point you're well within your rights to run away.
Yeah, bye.
He's dead.
I love you, but I gotta go.
Well,
get out.
I think the real move a spouse should do is, when a bug's on you, I slap it. You gotta kill it.
Oh, thank you.
So just give one to the neck and make it pop,
I'm gonna be ruthless.
Hey guys, what's going on? You need something?
If I saw a bug crawling out of your neck, I think I would go insane. I think that I would my mind would literally crack in two. I don't know what I would do. I really don't. I think it would be over for me.
Her just walking with her.
With this baby.
With this baby carrot.
It was not a shark bite.
Thanks.
Are you sure it wasn't a baby shark? We've heard their
We
songs.
sent them to the Coast Guard, and they said they didn't make sense. Sent them to FEMA. They're like,
wow,
you fucking
thanks
idiots!
for waiting around.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, good job. Good job, buddy.
Strange stuff. Oh, that croc with the blood. Parasites, wow.
And it's
do you want a copy of this report?
And
funny enough, I would love a copy of that fucking report. Thanks, great. I really do.
And it's
These
such a
assholes.
beautiful decision to set this on July 4th. You can have flags everywhere.
Yeah, all this patriotism.
The crab eating contest.
Yeah.
The 57th annual.
That's also what's amazing is we eat the crustaceans and then the crustaceans eat us. It's like, oh, okay, I got it.
Clever.
Clever, Barry.
We're
Deep
in deep
doo-doo.
Yep.
Thanks, you're a grown up. You can't say shit.
Has anyone made a movie set in Maine where the lobsters attack back?
Oh no! The baby! Oh god, the baby!
The baby.
God, get out! Oh no! Oh no!
That eye.
Jeez.
And this is the rationale, right? Oh my god. We blow up a non-issue and we shut down. It's the economy. It's fucking the same shit with COVID.
Yeah.
It would destroy the economy.
It's
we have
one of
to
the
open
reasons
back
why,
up.
even with our we're still dying of COVID right now in the thousands, and we should be doing a lot more mitigation
Thank you very much.
than we've done. Yeah,
Fuck
it's like, yeah, let's not shut anything down. Screw it. Who cares?
Uh-huh.
It's not my family being eaten by isopods.
Right.
It's just it's so messed up because it's true. The thing that's messed up is before 2020 we made movies like this because we thought
this could never.
We
happen.
wouldn't do it like this. We're warning, and then it's like
The government would never.
I wonder how they cleaned up the water. Did they clean up the water? Oh, they were killed off by dumping massive amounts of chlorine.
Yeah, that's right.
So they basically had to kill
Chlorine is the best healer of nature.
But you understand?
Killing
No,
everything.
and now you've killed everything. You've
Yeah.
killed
Right.
all the algae. You've killed all the bugs. You've killed all the animals.
But it's gonna be a good swimming hole.
Great.
That's all that matters.
So essentially, what they did was they put shock, which is like a really strong form of chlorine, kind of enzyme-y thing that just kills everything.
Yeah.
That's what they did. When people have pools, they need to refresh. They use this thing called
Remains
shock.
40% life.
I wonder if that's a real statistic. I'm gonna look it up.
Oh yes, the unseasonably high water
Yeah, from
temperatures.
climate change,
Yes.
how we have all these unseasonably high warm waters that are causing problems like demon hurricanes.
Yeah.
Ooh, and then look at how fun this like fun,
Yeah.
very sort of campy 80s
Yeah,
slash.
love
It's
it.
kind of John Carpenter-esque. It looks
Yeah,
like
it
The
is.
Fog.
Mm-hmm.
I
The
love
fog,
that.
yeah. I was just gonna.
This is a great movie. It's fun
It is.
and it's wackadoo, and I love it. And then look, it's like all these little sequences.
And
Of, don't get in the water, the bugs.
That's so great that they can just show you people in water and it's like horrifying.
Jason Blum, holla at your boy.
We saw you. We saw you at the Taylor concert.
So now as the credits roll would be a good time.
Well, here's what's
What?
nice is the Chesapeake Bay has had its smallest dead zone in 39 years in 2023, January 28th, 2023.
That's good.
So it was 33% smaller than the average, which is great. So they're improving upon it. But obviously because of people having to sound the alarm,
Yeah.
the Chesapeake Bay is an extremely important part of the ecosystem in this area.
Yep.
So,
So now as the credits roll, I'd like to urge our audience to go over to vundablog.com and check out all of our wonderful posts for Vunda Halloween-a-thon. You can find the link to this episode of the VundaCast, and in the link you will see a link to Ad Infinitum's Patreon page, so that you can support their music and keep it grooving.
Woo!
You can also support the GoFundMe for the Make Pottstown Skate Again for the Ringing Rocks roller rink, which we talked about on the last episode. It's a great cause to support, very important for that local community, and I like how they just sprinkled in this like creepy music here.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know.
You know, finally we have
but
like,
it's very like
creepy music on it.
documentary-esque music, like History
Yeah.
Channel.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, that was The Bay. Barry Levinson's The Bay.
Now I'm ready for the sequel, The Baby.
Starring Adam Cole.
Yes.
We just found out today he's done with Britt Baker after 7 years.
What?
They split. Yeah, he announced it.
Wow.
Yeah, the end of
Wild stuff.
the end of the era.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. This was a great pick, Danny.
Yay!
It was.
You
I
always
very
pick-
much enjoyed this.
You always pick the most powerful films and important to our
I feel like it's a
times.
movie that it made some money in the box office, but I think it's still sort of an unappreciated thing that people should revisit. You know, like I think it's a very strong found footage movie.
Yeah,
It's-
for sure.
It's very topical. And
Too
it's got
topical,
some really nasty, gross out body horror, which is also something I love. I think that's another reason I love it. It has body horror, and body horror is one of my favorite kinds of horror. Like, that is my horror genre.
I feel like for some reason I remember seeing this movie in a Blockbuster aisle, and it was like near that other movie that was found footage about zombies. I think it's called Quarantine. Was it called Quarantine?
Oh, yeah.
The one with the girl who's in Dexter?
You mean,
I think it was
his
Quarantine.
girlfriend?
Yes. No, his sister.
His sister. Oh, Deb. What's her name?
His sister on the show. Whatever. But I feel like those two films were at Blockbuster at the same time.
Yeah, Jennifer Carpenter.
And
yeah.
And I compared and contrasted them at the time because they were like the two found footage things. And I think this one wins out on like having the staying power.
Yeah, also because Quarantine was a remake of Wreck, which is a much stronger version of that story.
Oh, it's a remake of
Yes,
Wreck?
it's a remake of Wreck, and Wreck is a Spanish movie.
Yeah.
Basically the same plot, but just better done. Just more well done.
Well. And so, way to go, Danny. Fantastic pick. You steal the show as ever.
Fantastic. I love it.
There are just we're on day 23, 24?
23.
23 of Linda Halloween-a-thon.
Wow.
So there's just a few days left. And it's winding down.
We have some good ones coming up, though.
And the future is bright.
Very bright.
And I drank water
Oh no!
from the public water.
Oh no.
So hopefully I can still talk. I still have my tongue.
When I was living in California, you could literally fucking drink the tap water. Everyone would tell me, like, no, you can just fucking get some water from the tap in a cup and drink it. It's fine. It's completely safe. Because they have regulation and, you know, all the
New
things.
York has clean tap water.
Yeah.
Florida actually has pretty
Relatively
decent water.
clean, yeah.
Depending on where you go, but like we have pretty decent water.
Mm-hmm.
They say we should filter it, but.
Right. Which I do.
Mm-hmm.
I have been your host, Stephen.
I have been the they of theys, D-Rock.
And I've been Danny.
And remember, kids, the fastest way to tell disaster relief that you're dying is to tell 15 different bureaucratic organizations and record it, and then maybe just leave on your own accord.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely don't tell the only one that you really need to tell. Because that would be bad, I guess, apparently.
Yeah. And also, don't hunt FEMA down and murder them.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea.
That's also, like, let's not do that.
Maybe let's not do that.
I would agree with that, yeah.
Babe, I can't open this.
Hey, Wunda. Hey, Wunda. Wundercast? Give it up for Wundercast, man. What an adorable name.
You're listening to the Wundercast.
What's up, everybody? This is Jason David Frank, Green Ranger. You're listening to Wundercast.
You can find it at Wundercast, and I know they love Effie.
The clock strikes the 4 o'clock hour. What will you do, child, but turn your computers to radiate.fm to suck deep the cup of
Subscribe
Wundercast
to the Wundercast.
with your hosts, Stephen, D-Rock, and Danny.
I don't care!
Buffy.
Buffy is an important part part of
is
my
like
life.
75 hours.
Buffy is an important part of my life. And it must be watched, and he must
I'm just
watch
saying
it.
you should have equal run times
I
for
was
the things
was
that you
planning
force people
to watch it over my lifetime.
No! It's been 13
I'm
years. It's
60,
been
I'll
long
watch
enough.
season 70.
No.
I'm 50, I'll watch season 6.
No.
See,
You have to
there you
watch
go,
it
yeah.
now before your
You gotta-
brain starts going.
It's
mush.
romantic. Like, look, we're gonna be together the rest of our lives. I have my whole life to watch it.
There's John Carpenter movies I've been waiting to watch until I get older.
No, because I'm gonna rewatch Buffy at least 15 more times before I
Wait,
die.
what John Carpenter movies are you waiting to watch?
I've never seen Christine. I've never seen Dark Star.
Dark Star's kind of shitty.
There's a few other ones.
It's very clearly like a student film.